And welcome back to the Coach's Perspective Show here on Riverside TV. I'm your host, Jeff Gorham, and we've got another big game for you this week. It's a rivalry. It's Norte Vista versus La Sierra. And now I'm joined by the head football coach of La Sierra, Gary Hedlund. How you doing, Gary?
Great. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Now the season, how's it going for you guys so far?
Kind of been some positives and some negatives. We were able to win a couple games and do some good things there.
The last time we had you guys on the air, you guys had a great game and beat Paris.
Yeah.
That was a great win for you guys. Now, you guys are just now getting into the River Valley League, and you've got a tough one this week with the arch enemy or the rival, Norte Vista Braves and Coach Ken Batdorf. Can you tell us a little bit about Norte Vista?
Very big, very physical, very strong, very fast, very good at football.
Yeah, they're playing pretty well. In fact, they ended up beating Ramona, who was 5-0 going into league, and then they ended up taking care of Hillcrest in a game we had on the Riverside TV, which was a close one. In fact, some say it could have gone either way.
Yeah, definitely. Travis had his guys ready to go, and because our game got delayed because of the fires, we were able to watch the game, and it was a great game for sure. Definitely.
Well, covering the River Valley League, a lot of good coaches. I mean, a lot of guys, Ken Mashinsky, yourself, Ken Batdorf. You guys do a great job. Travis Carter. You guys do a good job. What's the camaraderie among the coaches in your league?
I think that, a lot of us have kind of been a part of it for a while. I've known Travis. We played together in college. And then I coached for Ken Batdorf. And Mashinsky came aboard a couple years ago, and he's been really nice guy. And then Fowler is a really good,
another great guy.
Good dude for sure. Enjoy playing him and talking to him. And then the new coach at Herpa Valley, just met him the other day when we played him, and seemed like a really genuinely good person. Now
you had mentioned you coached with Ken Batdorf. Can you tell us what you had taken away from him your couple years coaching with him?
Coaching with Batdorf. Well, he really genuinely cares about the kids. He's a pillar of the Riverside community, the Alvord Unified School District. And I think one thing that he does is he has his team adapted to his players adapt to his style really well. So they run, the power pitch, and they're going to run it, and you're going to know it's coming, and he's going to triple dog dare you to stop it, and he doesn't care that it's coming. And the belief that his kids have in his system and in him is something that any team should strive to have from their players in their system.
Now, they're playing pretty well, but I'll tell you what, this is a big rivalry. What would it mean for La Sierra to knock off Norte Vista right now with Novi being 2-0 in league?
Man, that would be an amazing accomplishment. One of the highlights of our kids' life to date, I would say. And for me personally, it would be a really exciting win. Definitely put us right back in the playoff picture and, shock the world, Appalachian State over Michigan or whatever you want to say.
I hear you. Now your father was a longtime football coach, a Ramona grad, was also on Ken Batdorf's staff. Was it something, were you always drawn to being a coach, do you think? Being that your dad was a coach growing up, did you always want to be a high school football coach?
Yeah, no doubt. I actually posted on Twitter a picture of me and my son. The Alvord got air-conditioned buses that have car seats attached to the seats now.
Oh.
So I had him sitting with me on the way to the game last week and just took a cool picture. And it was really special for me because I can remember my dad coached at San Jacinto Junior College for 8 years, and I'm 5 years old. I go on the bus to the game, and then we take one of those vans and eat ding-dongs in the back of the bus or the back of the van on the way to go scout. So we play at 1 and scout at 7. So going to watch Elsinore in Paris because that was who he scouted on Friday nights. So my whole life has always been high school football, college football. It's always been a very deep part of who I am and something I'm very passionate about.
Now, you're a father of 2 now. I've known you for a few years, and I remember when you had your first child, and now you have 2 of them.
Yep.
Do you hope that they follow in the footsteps of you and your father?
In terms of coaching, if that's what they want to do, I just want them to be happy and hopefully find something that they're passionate about the way that my dad and my brothers and myself are passionate about sports and coaching and education. But that's really a family thing. My wife is a teacher. My in-laws are teachers. My parents were both are both teachers. So education and sports, and find whatever passion that they have and have fun with that for sure.
Now, since becoming a dad for the second time,
Yeah.
has that changed you coaching-wise at all, you think?
I think it's harder to be there longer. You want to get home and see them and play with them and be with them. And I think Friday or Saturday, I guess, yeah. Always say Friday, but
Yes.
we played on Saturday, and I was able to bring my son to the game, and just seeing my players interact with him, and then me get to play with him on the sideline a little bit before the game, and just enjoy those special moments that I can remember. Brooke was like 3 when I was at Novi, or 4 or something, and she's running around and telling the players what to do. So I think the opportunity to have your child with you on a Friday or Saturday night is something that's very special and very fun.
Now, you're playing Norte Vista. Norte Vista is pretty. Now, what can you guys do to stop them?
Well, we got to stop 15 and 16. So they're going to
15
run
and
power
16?
pitch, and they're going to run it right, and then they're going to run it left, and they're going to run it behind the fullback, and they're going to come right at you, and they're going to pull the guard and the tackle. And if you stop that, you'll win, because that's what they're going to run. And if you don't, they're going to score a lot, because that's what they're going to run.
So you put 11 in the box and try your best.
12.
12 if
12.
you can.
See what
12
happens.
man.
See what happens.
Now, I watch you on the sidelines, and you have a great rapport with your team, your guys. When you score a touchdown, you're out there jumping up in the air. What is it that makes you so close to your team, and do you enjoy being on the sidelines?
As a player, I was, Brett Favre, whoever you want to say, running down the sideline, acting like a kid, talking to the other team. I threw a game-winning touchdown pass against Batdorf. I played against him.
Yeah.
So just the excitement of it is what's really special. So, high school football is something that is untouchable. So when you score a touchdown and chest bump or do some type of special handshake with a kid, it's a highlight. It's something that is truly special, and I think that the love that you get between a player and a coach is something that really you don't get in other places. So you get to form that special bond and have those fun times with them, and dance with them in the locker room after you win, and do the whole thing. So I think that that passion and that excitement for kids and for the game of football is something that's probably the most fun part about this whole process.
Well, it's infectious to watch you on the sidelines, to say the least. I had a tendency to watch the game, then I watch you on the sidelines. You're fun to watch. There's
Thank
music
you.
before the game. I think your brother's on the staff. He's dancing around. You guys just seem to enjoy yourselves, which is refreshing to see. But now let's talk about the Eagles.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about what your highlights are for the year you've done so far.
Okay, so first off, I got to start with our team GPA was 3.1 at the quarter, which was highlighted or led by our left tackle, Austin Work, who I think is a SCIAC kid through and through. He's a 4.6 GPA this year. Just an amazing human being, great parents, just someone that you want your children to grow up to be like. Our quarterback, Justin Esquivel, 4.0 student, another guy that, he threw for like 230 yards last week, works extremely hard, does what's asked of him, does above and beyond what's asked of him. To go back to Austin real fast, he puts away the water jugs, he cleans up the field. He's just that kid that you just love to coach, 4.6 GPA, what can you say? And then Elizabeth Lopez, Liz, we have a girl on our team.
That's right.
4.0 GPA as well. So I would say those are some of the highlights. Also Adrian Lopez, who's our center, is also a 4.0 kid. So to have multiple players at that 4.0 and above range is just something that, Batdorf will say it too. That you don't know if you've won after 10 games, after 10 years. And I know that whilst our record may not be exactly what we want, we're building people, young men and women of character who will be successful in life. And hopefully that being a part of our football program is something that aided them in that success for sure.
Okay, now, if I talk to Gary Henlon 10 years from now, where do you see yourself and where do you see the program?
Where do I see myself? I'm hopefully coaching football and probably coaching Youth Federation baseball and AYSO soccer and
That's part of the
NJB basketball and Pop Warner football and just whatever, if I don't know if there's kids golf, but I want to coach that. Whatever my children want to play, I'll be with them, enjoying that, fired up about being that, and coaching football. Hopefully end up still doing what I love to do.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have a 3-year-old. He plays golf every single day.
I saw your Twitter post,
Yeah.
and I said that you have won at life when he dressed up as Tiger Woods. You had the red,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Sunday red.
Yes.
That was absolutely one of my favorite Twitter posts of the year. Jeff Gorham, great follow.
But yeah,
man.
you're going to be busy. I'll tell you, I coach Little League Baseball.
Yeah.
I work basketball camps for my older
Yeah.
son, and now I'm taking my youngest, who's 3, to go out and practice golf, 3 times a week. I hope he becomes a golfer because I can go out and I can watch him play in a nice grass. I don't have to worry about yelling at him and just have fun.
No, I mean, being a father and getting to play with your kids is just the most fun thing. My son, he just loves animals, so I don't know, maybe he'll be Steve Irwin, but I just want to be with them and play with them and enjoy that. So, and I see you doing it, and that's awesome.
Well, it's refreshing to see a coach, a father, and a husband, and really a friend to your team. They look up to you. It's very contagious, infectious, and I applaud you. I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And I can't wait for the game this Friday night versus Norte Vista High School. It will be our game of the week, and it will be this Friday night, Norte Vista versus La Sierra on Riverside TV. We're going to be right back with Coach Rice from Riverside Poly to discuss their game.
The Community Police Review Commission was created to promote public confidence in the professionalism and accountability of the City of Riverside's Police Department. The commission consists of an all-civilian panel of members from across the city. The commission's roles include advising the mayor and city council on all police relations issues, reviewing and investigating officer-involved deaths, receiving complaints, and conducting hearings on misconduct against sworn Riverside police officers, making policy suggestions, and bringing community concerns to the attention of the Riverside Police Department. If you're interested in learning more about how you can serve or for information on the commission, visit riversideca.gov/CPRC.
And welcome back to the Coach's Perspective here on Riverside TV. And now we're joined by the great John Rice, the head coach of Riverside Poly, and they will be part of our doubleheader this week for our game of the week as Riverside Poly will take on Lakeside High School. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Hey, this has been a great year for the Bears. I'll tell you what, you look at the big picture of things, you have a shot to make the playoffs.
We have to handle our business one game at a time. We play a tough Lakeside squad. They're a good 0-7 team, so we have to take care of business Friday, and then we play Paris the following week. And if we handle things, then we could be playing for a playoff spot the last week against rival North. So we think we're in a good position right now. The kids are excited, the staff's excited, and so is the community.
Since last time we saw you on Riverside TV, can you tell us how you guys have been doing?
Well, we've developed some more culture. Kids are learning how to play together, to play for 4 quarters. We played a really good game on defense against Orange Vista for the most part. We still have a little ways to go, but we're happy with the way the team's progressing. Kids are having fun. We're happy with the way things are going.
And talking about that being the happiness, how would you assess year one? Tell us some of the good things that you've taken away from coaching the Bears.
Just that we have some very resilient kids. They're very intelligent, they're bright, they pick up things fast, they have no quit in them, they're full of fire. Just very proud of being part of Poly when they hit the field. I'm just excited to take them into battle every week.
Now, daily practices, what are they like?
Well, they're high tempo. We don't need to condition at the end, so we're very structured down to every 5 minutes. I'm kind of a little bit very organized, let's say it in a nice way. So we're planning from 3 o'clock until we get out of there at 6:30. Every 5 minutes is planned. We're very structured. Everything's with a purpose and a goal. We go fast, we transition fast. We're just trying to get the work ethic up to where it needs to be, and they've done a really good job with that so far.
Now, talking about your league, you've got a couple of really tough opponents sitting at the top of the league. Can you tell us a little bit about the entire overview of your league right now?
Well, I'll tell you what, Orange Vista is full of athletes and have great coaches with the Zomals over there, and then Coach Brown and his staff doing a great job at North. Of course, they're playing in a couple weeks right before we play North, so we're hoping to catch North after a real tough game. They're clearly the class of the league right now, and then I think we're sitting at 1-1 right now, and then there's Lakeside and Paris and Canyon Springs. So the top part of the league, of course, will split up next year when they change the alignments.
Now, you've been with good friends with Coach Dennis Brown over at North. He's done a tremendous job in his couple of years there. Do you see yourself and the Bears doing this kind of same thing, building upon your program?
Coach Brown has done a great job. They have a great administration and community that's proud, and so is Paulie. So we're going to handle this the way that we need to handle it, which is to build culture, to build community bonds, to work on work ethic and our cultural values over there. So we're going to work on what Paulie needs to work on, and we're real happy to have the support of the community and the administration.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I remember watching the Bears as a kid. You know, Coach Churchill, Coach Meyer, all those guys were. It was always a very successful program, and you always saw the community back the Bears. And it's really nice, the games that we've covered this year, you go to the games, you have so many people supporting the Bears. What's that like around campus?
It's great around campus. I've heard from a lot of ex-players, and we're looking forward to homecoming and having some of those players and community members come back and watch us. So that's a plus. You have a lot of people that root for you, that call in to check in, to email, to see how things are going. So we're really fortunate to have that kind of backing.
Now, homecoming is this Saturday, and you're playing a Lakeside team that you said is a good 0-7 team. You know, do you guys worry about that snake bite ever?
Always. You always have to respect your opponent. I think they have some good skill positions. They have that quarterback is real good. Dakota is a really good player, and they have a receiver named Medina and a running back, Reggie. They're good. I think they can move the ball. I think they're big and physical, and anytime you don't respect your opponent, then you're liable to get upset. So we're working very hard on respecting our opponent and taking care of what we do, getting better, not making mental mistakes, not turning the ball over, and then we can get out of there with a win, hopefully, if we play our best.
Now, talking about the Bears, tell us about some of your guys offensively, defensively, that really have shined for you so far this season.
Bud Burney has been our quarterback, and he's been playing quarterback in corner. And, of course, last week he picked off a ball for our first score to put us up 6-0, returned it over 60 yards. And then on the offensive side of the ball, he makes us go. He's a run-pass threat, and he's been a leader the whole year. And then we have a surprising running back, Jason Harrell, who's a senior who's coming along and established himself. And then we have Ethan LaMontagne playing safety and receiver, Joseph Serta playing linebacker. And there is a lot of players on that team that are standing out, and not enough time to name every single one of them.
And talking about Bud Burney, he's also a basketball player, I've heard.
He is, and that just goes to show you there's a myth about players having to play one sport or the other. We don't believe in that, and he's proof that you can excel at both sports or multiple sports.
Yeah, I being a former basketball coach and working at Norte Vista, I always got to work with Ken Batdorf, and we shared athletes. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, because you look at the Riverside Poly Athletics, basketball is successful, football is now getting back to the prominence that it was. And all the sports. What's the camaraderie like among coaches there?
I think it's good. I think that it's a misnomer to think that success in one sport is mutually exclusive from sport in another. And academic, same thing. You don't have to be known as a basketball school or a football school or an academic school. You can be successful at all those. So I think the relationship's good. And I really believe in multi-sport athletes. And if you ask the college coaches who they recruit first, it is multi-sport athletes.
Now, talking about Riverside Poly, year one for you, where do you see yourself and the Bears in 5 years from now?
In 5 years, I hope we will have built this program to perennial winner that does it the right way. To build the support, to build a program where the young men graduate and they're great young men. They're great fathers and husbands and sons, and that they leave our program ready to face the world and be contributors to society. And I know that's old school, but that's what we're doing at Poly.
Well, that's great to hear. Now, my last question is, I'm going to ask you is, you've been an assistant coach, you've been a head coach. What did you learn in your time between being a head coach and being an assistant and then being a head coach again? What did you learn from those years under the helm of great coaches?
There's always more than one way to skin a cat. There are multiple ways to get the same thing done, including winning coaches, and that you're only as good as your assistant coaches. You can be a great, knowledgeable coach, but if you don't have a staff that is unselfish and loyal, then your program's going to go nowhere. Assistant coaches are the backbone of any great program.
You got a pretty good one. And Bill Powell, I know he's one of your closest friends in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know about that other guy, Stauffer. He's my mortal enemy. But I'll tell you what, you do have a great coaching staff at Riverside Poly, and you've got to be really thrilled every day to go to work.
I'm thrilled to have those guys that are unselfish, that come from jobs and work hard and don't ask for any of the credit. But the bottom line is we're only successful as our coaching staff. And the assistants are great, and they're an asset to the community and to our program.
Well, he is the great John Rice, the head football coach at Riverside Poly. He will be game 2 of our game of the week on Saturday night as the Bears will take on Lakeside. Lakeside, I believe are they the Knights?
Lancers.
The
Lancers.
So they're going to take on the Lancers. It'll be Saturday night at 7 p.m. Check us out on all our media formats on Riverside TV. I'm Jeff Gorham, and I'll see you next week on The Coach's Perspective.